went for a stroll here at the start at La Vuelta this morning, and here's some of the top tech that I saw. There's always some cool tech on show at pro races. The Tour of Spain doesn't have the high-profile tech releases that we saw at this year's Tour de France, but there's still some interesting bits and pieces to see. Pros spend hours in the saddle, so it's no wonder that they're always looking for ways to modify their bikes to make them just that little bit more comfortable. Back at the Tour de France, we spotted that Bauke Mollema goes without rubber hoods on his brake levers, preferring to have them wrapped in bar tape. One of our Facebook followers has since informed us that this is in fact because Mollema has a rubber allergy, requiring to have shorts without rubber grippers on the legs too. Lots of you have commented on Chris Horner's position on the bike. Horner is a pro of many years, so it's safe to assume that he has spent a while working on his position. A bike that was originally designed for the Spring Classics, and one that gives a softer, more comfortable ride than the Trek Madone that many of his teammates prefer. The big question about Horner's bike, however, has been his handlebar width. This truly stands out in the pro peloton, where the general rule is bars are narrow for aerodynamics. Horner goes for a very, very wide bar. At slow speed on the climbs, where he does most of his damage, aerodynamics have less of a say, but it's still strange to see a pro using bars that are 44 to 46 centimeters wide. Rumour has it that he received them on a team bike by mistake a few years ago, and he has stuck with them ever since. Christian Meyer of orica-greenedge is one of the hardest working domestiques in the peloton, and there has hardly been a stage at this year's Vuelta where he hasn't taken his turn on the front of the bunch. Meyer has his Shimano sprint levers placed low and central on the drops. Normally, these are placed just below the hoods so that sprinters can make quick shifts without reaching for the levers. Meyer's position reflects the nature of his job. With long hours in the drops on the front of the bunch, he can change gear without moving his hands up the bars. Also at Orica, we saw some Continental pro-only tubs. Featuring a file tread outer and a smoother inner, these are designed to be faster rolling and aren't available to the consumer. One of the nicest bikes, and one of the few custom paint jobs at this year's Vuelta, is Ivan Santaromita's Italian national champions BMC Team Machine SLR 01. Santaromita's bike is, obviously, painted in the colours of the Italian flag. Being national champion has other perks for Santaromita. Where pros would normally have a name sticker, he has his name painted on the frame alongside his signature. He receives a green and red SRM head unit too. Also catching our eye on his BMC was the neat cable routing for the rear brake. Nicholas Roach's Specialized bikes are equipped with alligator eye-link cables. They are a bit lighter than standard cables, and we've previously seen them on Contador's bikes, so perhaps it's special treatment reserved for Saxo-Tinkoff's team leaders. One bike in the Vuelta peloton that you don't see too often outside Spain are the Vivelos of the Caja Rural team. Vivelo are an Eastern European brand who have sponsored several continental teams over the last few years. Caja Rural are sponsored by Rotor, a Spanish brand. This year, Rotor have released their QXL rings, which are a more ovalized version of their slightly ovalized Q rings and are starting to look a little more like the isometric chainrings that Team Sky have used in the past couple of years. What do you think of the tech on show at this year's Vuelta? Let us know in the comments below.
That seems like a lot of information to look for, but it's all interlinked, and before long, one quick glance will give you all the information you need. You should be scanning the road in front of you anyway, but it's particularly important